As a resident, let's say, preaching nerd, speaking nerd, I listen to a lot of motivational speakers, a lot of those kind of inspirational things that go around, sermons, and just I've heard a lot of evangelists, itinerant speakers, pastors, so forth. I've heard probably over 1 million sermons so far in my life, from different contexts, revival series, and just stuff, right? I heard a lot of them. And something that comes up quite often is this it's kind of uh, like a speaker's yarn nowadays. It was originally based on a book. There's a book um, that it came from that has just been kind of absorbed into kind of the speaker's repertoire now, in which it's called Cat and Dog Theology. And the way it typically goes is you have person will say like that cat theology is like that the human cares for me and scoops my poop and pets me when I want it and cares for me when I want it and whatever, and so I must be God. Versus you have dog theology is like that the human cares for me and pets me and shows me affection and feeds me and puts me out when I need it and brings me back in when I need it and takes me on walks and plays with me and whatever. And so as they must be God. That's kind of like they add in additional details as needed in order to kind of create the dramatic appeal that they want, but that's kind of the general flow of it. And the idea is that you don't want to be a cat, you want to be a dog theology, where you relate all of this care and affection rather than it being that it's centered on you, it's centered on the one giving it. And far be it from me to ever overthink or dismantle something due to unnecessary whatever that I tend to do. But I'm going to do that anyway. In that, because I have a dog, and we also have 2 cats, and an interesting feature of, if we're going to see this in played out as the way that it's supposed to be, is that the dog is the better example. Well, our dog, not super well trained, but she gets stuff, is that everything that I do, she assumes is focused on or will involve her in some way. If I'm just relaxed on the couch and she's curled up next to me and I get up for any reason, doesn't matter which direction I'm going, towards the bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, she will get up and follow me, assuming that it's going to involve her somehow. If I have a plate in my hand, doesn't matter if there's anything on that plate, she immediately assumes that whatever's on that plate is going to end up in her mouth, that I'm going to give it to her. She assumes everything in this house involves something for her. That's dog theology. Doesn't matter what my intentions are, it doesn't matter what my plan was, it doesn't matter anything. She assumes that whatever it is that I was planning to do, it is going to culminate or terminate on her. And so I think that basically, like, if we're going to take this example of the dog theology that people have been promoting for so long, that's pretty much it. That's what people are talking about when they're talking about actual, lived it out, practical dog style Christian theology, of that anytime something is happening in the world, Christians assume that it's going to involve them. They love to spout Romans 8, everything that happens, God's going to make it all work out for your good and everything. Well, you know what? contrary to the popular belief, nothing in this universe revolves around you. Nothing in this universe, nothing in this world, nothing that's happening, not the weather, not a global virus pandemic, nothing involves or revolves around you as an individual or Christians in general. It just doesn't. Everything that happens is about God, and it is about God's word going forth. You can either join in that process and move yourself towards the center, which is God and God's word, or you can move away from that, trying to drag the circle back towards around yourself again. But that's really the only two choices that you have in reality. And I think that it's something that's missed on most preachers nowadays, because people want to hear about what's God's plan for themselves. What's God's plan for me and my life? Well, maybe it's to get you, first off, to stop asking that question, because it's centered, it's focused on it. The primary essence of it is me, my purpose. And really what they're asking is for a preacher, pastor, speaker to give them permission to make their own will God's will. Their desires for financial wealth and financial peace and structural comfort, political agency, whatever their plan is, they want that to be endorsed by God so that they'll be able to do it without guilt. When in fact, most often, the thing that they're prioritizing is the very obstacle that keeps them from pursuing God's actual will for them.